All right, so I was going to take my clutch hub, as I was saying earlier, and I was going to drill out these rivets and put a new clutch hub disc on this clutch hub, because I thought it was wore too much that I didn't want to take it back apart that soon. So figured I'd do it right the first time. On second thought, as I get here, here's what I, this is a new little tool. So this is to put that clutch hub on disc. So you tighten it down in the vise. Got a little set that you put in there, and then you'll take your clutch hub, the back of your rivet, and you put your, drill these out, put all new rivets in, put your clutch hub disc on, set this, the bottom of this rivet on this set, drop this pin in to where you can see it, right there. Then you take your handy dandy hammer and you whack it. And that's how you set your rivets. So what I did was, hey Zeus, come in here, buddy. Got a dog getting ready to take off. Hey, bud. He's not chained up. So anyhow, as I did that, I found out that I set them a lot deeper than they were before I started. So I'm gonna keep it. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be fine. So I'll have an extra. I don't have to deal with it right now, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start to grease the bearings and put the bearing cage on the bearings, and I'll reset up and we'll show you how we do that. All right. So after I've decided not to change my friction disc on this bearing hub, my next step is to grease this bearing retainer. Hey, buddy. Grease this bearing retainer and put it on the hub. And what we want to watch not to do is, this is a dry clutch, so we don't want to over grease this, because I don't want to get a bunch of grease inside what I've just cleaned grease out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some grease. This happens to be some Lucas red and tacky grease, and I'm not putting any on the outside. I'm gonna kind of dab it, not through the holes, but I'm gonna dab it here, here, here. I'm gonna kind of just, you know, try to dab it in places that are flat. And this might take a while. And I'm going to rub it on the inside, and try not to push a lot through the holes. Try to keep it inside here. And you do have to keep enough on here to actually keep your bearings in, and I'm sure you're going to get ready to see a bunch of them falling out on me. Because I don't think it's probably not an easy job for me, because I haven't done a boatload of them. So I'm still learning some tricks. And if anybody out there's got any tricks that they want to share, I'm real open to listening. Leave a comment, please. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get enough grease, but not too much. And the big question is, gee, what's too much, right? Too much is enough that it's going to come out and get in your clutch discs. I have a couple rags here that I'm going to try to keep it off of the outside race. But you do want to put enough on that you get all your bearings. There's 20 of them. So I'm going to take each one of these bearings and I'm going to drop them in each one of these holes. And if you can see, the bearing will drop in like that. And as you can see, I'm getting some through the holes, and I really don't want that. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to drop these in. And once I get the bottom half in to where it doesn't, or the bottom row of bearings, I'm going to kind of press in some grease to hold them, because I have to turn it upright to actually get it over top of that piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some and I'm going to go over top. Get on all four sides of the bearing. And I don't want to leave a boatload of excess. So I might, you can see what I'm doing there, I think. And what I'll do is I'll clean the grease off of this side. I don't want a bunch of grease on this side. And I'll get rid of the excess kind of in between the bearings. And once I have them all on, I'm going to set this upright. And I have to feed that over top of the hub. And I am going to put a slight amount of grease on the outside of this hub. Very little, just a film. If you can see it. I'm just going to put a film on this flat, because I don't want it to seep out and get on this disc or seep out of the front and get on these discs. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll turn this back on once I have it done, and I'll show you what I have before I slide it on, and we'll go from there. All right, you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, I don't have any big lumps. Get some of this thicker stuff out. But they're all pretty much greased. I do have a little coming through, and I'll hit that once I get these bearings on. But I feel like that's pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's not too much. I think it's enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe the outside of this shell off. And hopefully we can set that there without any falling apart. I'm going to take a little bit of grease, a very small amount, and I do not want to touch that. And I'm going to go right around the outside of this hub. What's up, buddy? How you doing? How you doing? Watch out, you don't want to get this grease on you. And like I said, I'm not putting a big film on. I'm just enough to, not enough that any could squeeze out. Get any excess that's over the lip. What do you think? Good enough? Huh? I think we're gonna be all right. All right, so I'm happy with that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna set this down, and I'm gonna take this bearing race, or cage, some people call it a bearing cage, and I am gonna put this down over top, try not to let it fall out. And right there it is. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure the outside of these bearings are done, but not have a lot of excess grease. Because what I don't want is, again, this grease to all heat up and be all over the clutch plates, or it kind of kills the whole reason that I clean the clutch plates. But I do need enough grease to make sure that that they're greased. So if anybody out there has an easier way, a better way, a foolproof way, please let me know. Next thing I'll do as we go, this is the retainer that holds that on, drops on like this. And then old school had the three springs, and these three springs slide down over each stud that has your nut on it. And there is, if you look, there's a small etched circle for the top of this spring to drop in that holds it so it doesn't slide back off. I picked up a new style, supposed to be greater, keeps the clutch from wobbling, gives you 3 different adjustment points. I'll grab it real quick. And once I get this on the bike, and I am waiting on a new key. Here's the key that came out of the shaft of the clutch. I was going to reuse it, but everything I've read, they say, hey, they shear off and don't save $1 or $1.50. Put a new one in. So I ordered a new one. So this will slow me down a little bit. I need to get some extra parts around here. But I'm going to put a new key in. And once I get the key, I'll put the hub in, the key on, and we'll show that too. And then I'll take this, is what I was talking about, clutch retainer kit. And it has 3 snap rings or Jesus clips as I call them, because every time you put them on, they spring and they go, and you say, Jesus, and they're gone. If you look here, and I don't know if you can see if I can get in the right angle, but it says A, B, and C, and then A, B, C, A, B, C. And each one of these are a different depth. So once you get your hub on, you'll drop this on, and then you got to find out where all your A's line up. There's all my C's. So if I was going to use this, I would get that on there, slide this down on, and then I'm going to pop these retainers on. And what I want is a tight fit to where that clutch doesn't wobble like this. I want it as tight as I can. That way the clutch plates aren't wobbling and wearing. They're all wearing at the same rate. So we'll be back once I get a couple more parts, and we'll start putting it on the bike and go from there. So see ya.